Okay, so what we're looking at here is creating lines that are perpendicular to our bisector line, which is AB. So what it's saying is use the set square to draw the line AB with the given length. So you'll be measuring using a set square, not a ruler. Now the set square I've got is only 10 centimeters long, so I haven't got a set square big enough to do some of these, so I'll be using this ruler. So what you need to do is make sure that your set square is big enough to do all of these lines, because this last one here you can see is 15 centimeters, which is exactly how long this ruler is, so I'm going to need to use the ruler for that. So all it's saying is create a line AB and use the set square to draw that line, and then using your compass and set square construct the perpendicular to the line AB. Very, very simple. We were doing stuff like this the other day, do you remember? And it's just given us an arbitrary angle there, so I don't think it matters what angle our A and B is, but for the purpose of the exercise and for your exam, make it look at the same angle as that. So the first one is 8 centimeters, so we'll use our set square for that. We'll draw it at that angle. So 8 centimeters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then if we just put a little tag on it there, it defines the end, if you understand, and we'll call that A and B. And this is the first one. So very, very simple, very, very straightforward, exactly what you've already been doing. All we need to do is go to put our spike on B, and then these arcs demonstrated here go all the way through, and you can do that. Make sure that you go further than halfway, and then you come back to there, and you join up, and then it's a simple case of I normally put my pencil onto one of the crosses exactly, and then bring the square to it, and then you can line it up with the second cross down there and then draw your line. And that's all that this exercise is asking for, just to draw the perpendicular to the line. So that one was the 8 centimeter one. I'll do one more demonstration on the next one, which is the 4 centimeter one. I'll do that demonstration, and then we will, and then I'll move on to the next exercise, because I'm sure you'll be able to do that without any problem at all. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll put a little tag on, just like that, and then very, very simple. Just make sure we don't want to go too big with our arc. Although if you were out here with your arc and you did it all the way up there and then all the way down there and then line them up, it would still bisect it. It would still hit the same place, but normally we would do it more than half, but not too much more. And you can just do your little arcs if you want. Or alternatively, you can do a full arc going from top to bottom, but your crosses will still be in exactly the same place. And what I would suggest for this exam, because the demonstration shows full arcs, do full arcs. So put your pencil onto one of the points, meet it with the set square, line that up on the other point. Bearing in mind you've got a thickness of your pencil as well, so when you're lining it up on the other point, allow for the thickness of the pencil lead. But I'm sure you'll get that with a little bit of experience. So we'll just call that A and B again. And that's that first exercise done. The next one's 150. Like I say, this is a bit short for that, so I would need to do the line with this. But again, it's going to come out exactly the same. So I'm sure we don't need to do that. Okay, that's exercise 1 completed. Exercise 2. Draw 3 different triangles using the set square. Now, it doesn't give us dimensions for these triangles, so I'm sure it doesn't really matter what size we use. So all I'm going to do is draw them roughly corresponding to these. So we get our set square, and the first one is going to look something like this, I think. Oops, and there we go. So that's our triangle. So all it's saying is, using the compass and the set square, construct a perpendicular bisector for all sides of the triangle. And then all that means we're going to do is go right into that corner, and then for this side we'll do our bisector like that. While we're here, we might as well, and then without moving the compass, of course, we would then do the bisector for this side, or the arc for this side. Need to go a little bit further with that one. There we go. So we can draw our line for so that's the bisector for this side, and then I've already put this line in, so I've had to, okay, so we've matched that. You mustn't alter the size of this in between. Let's just and elongate that one slightly. There we go. Then if we do the same for this side, and then join that one up. Okay. So what I noticed from this is that these are very, very close. I think they all seem to cross very, very close to the same point. So we'll just have another look at that. We'll do the next one, which is going to be a much flatter triangle. So if we okay, so let's get the bisectors for this. Okay. Now I'm sort of suspecting, I suspect that we're going to need to elongate this line just to discover our point, or to find the thing that the exam seems to be looking for, or the test seems to be looking for. So put those ones on. And then we can, let's just elongate that down to the point where it crosses the other one. Crosses down there. That's interesting. Okay, now what we'll do is we will just come bigger for that one, and then this is where you'll need a slightly longer, a slightly larger set square than I've got. If we do that and we join that, we find that once again the three lines intersect, although this is outside of the triangle, but they all intersect very, very close to one another. So they all intersect. If we were perhaps more accurate, they would intersect at the same point. That seems to be the message that's happening here. They are happening. They are all intersecting at the same point. So when you do this flat triangle, make sure that you extend far enough so that they do intersect. So that's an interesting point to note. Okay, I won't bother doing the third triangle because I think we've done. You can try that one out on your own. Time to move on to the next exercise. Okay, so the next problem is this one here, where it says transfer angles. So draw an angle with the set square. To do this, draw a straight line using the set square and then use a compass and a set square, transfer the angle so that one side of the angle lies on the straight line. Quite straightforward. So all we'll do is, using our set square, we'll make an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Now, what that means is, got a line there, like that, and then if that was 90 degrees there, it's going to be less than that. So it has to be this side of 90 degrees. So we'll draw our angle. And now what we've got to do, or what the idea is to replicate that angle on another straight line, and we want to make sure that it's exactly the same. So we'll put a little tag there, just to show that's our starting point. And now all we do is, using our compass, we go onto the original angle and we just set it just like that. It doesn't matter the size, but you want it big enough so that you can easily easily work with it. And then we draw the same arc just there like that. Okay, then all we do is go to the bottom of this arc like that, and we put a line straight through where that intersection is, or where the previous arc intersects our angled line. There you go, just about there. So we make that mark, we do that, and now we've got our cross there, and all we do is we draw our line straight from our point here where we've got the little tag, straight up to this point here, just like that. And what we've done is we've copied that angle and replicated it here, which is exactly what it's saying. Now it's saying do this in 3 times. So what I would say now is, you do it the next 2 times, because that's very, very straightforward. Just draw your angle to start with, less than 90 degrees, do your next line, and then all we're going to do is do that. Oops, that's a very wobbly one, wasn't it? There you go, but that's come out okay. And then replicate that here, and then from this point here, we're going to set it exactly to go through that center there, just like that. Then we mark it, and then we draw our line, and we've replicated that angle. Okay, very, very easy. Okay, so what's our next question then? Okay, we're going to construct an octagon. An octagon is an 8-sided shape. And the way that it's suggesting that we do this is we draw, start off with 2 perpendicular lines. Perpendicular means lines that cross each other with a right angle. So what we want to do is we'll start off with our first line. Now we're going to be using, if we just go a little bit further down, there's going to be a radius of 6 centimeters. So we need to be at least 12 centimetres with this. So I'm just going to go, say 14 centimetres. Right, now what we need to do, to have a little tag at each end so that we've got a definite start and finish. Then what we need to do is we need to bisect this angle, this line, in order to make sure that we're perpendicular with our cross line, our line going across. Whoa, just long enough there. Okay, so that now we know we've got perpendicular lines. So then it says draw a circle with a radius of 6 centimetres. So we'll measure that using our set square. So we put our dot. A lot of set squares have a little hole, or a lot of protractors have a little hole as well in the middle, so that your compass point can go straight in. So that's 6 centimetres there. You've got to be very accurate when you measure that. Okay, and so all we're going to do is draw a circle all the way around, like that. And then we've got our circle. So then we're going to join this point to this point to this point to this point and create a square. So very, very straightforward. Create our square. It's not an upright square, it's on its edge or on one corner, but it's a square nevertheless. And there we have it. So the next thing for us to do is to bisect each of the lines on the square. So all we need to do is just go slightly over halfway. And very, very faintly, just do that. And then we'll do this one up here. And then this one down here. Which means we can now do this one here. And then this one here. And then this one here. And finally, this one here. Okay. So you want to do those very, very faint. And then what we can do is we can connect all these. Just like that. So just two lines which goes through the points of each of those. Now, if we have a look at the example here, what you can say is because it's a square, if you just did one there and then bisected that line, it should go straight through the centre of that. And if you use the centre point here, what that would mean is that if you did just do one side, you could extend that straight through that centre point and straight down, and you wouldn't really need to do the other two sides. You'd only need to do one side and then another side, and this line would go all the way through. This line would go all the way through. So for neatness, that might be the best way to do it. But having said that, if you've got any slight inaccuracy, what that will mean is your line will waver off and your octagonal won't be true. So what we're going to do now is join this point to this point. So the points we've just created are going to be joined to the points of our square. We'll do that in quite heavy, without risking breaking our pencil. And then join that one. Then join this one. This one. And we just keep going all the way round until we've joined each square corner with each of the new perpendicular lines that we've got coming through the centre of the circle. And what you need to do, or what you need to try to do, is make your construction lines very, very light. And by the construction lines, I mean all the arcs and the square. They need to be very, very light, and then this outside would be done a little heavier. Maybe get a different type of pencil, a softer pencil for that. Okay, so that's that exercise completed. Okay, so the next one is draw 4 different quadrilaterals using the set square. And then, using a compass and set square, construct the perpendicular bisector for all quadrilateral sides. Mark the midpoints of the 4 sides you've found. Connect the midpoints of the 4 sides to form a quadrilateral. And what shape do the 4 resulting quadrilaterals have? Okay. We shall do that now. So, if we just do, say, this one to start. Okay, so that's an approximation of this. It's not giving us any sizes, so so it's our interpretation. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to use the compass and set square, construct a perpendicular bisector for all of the quadrilateral sides. And the reason we're doing this is just to find out where the centre of the line is. That's all we're doing at the moment. So I'll do those very, very light. Okay, so the centre of this line, we do that, the centre of this line is right there. And we can actually put the line in, we'll put it in very, very faintly. Okay, so we do that, carry on that exercise. And then what we'll do is very, very faintly draw that line in, just like that. We'll put a little mark at the centre there. Okay. Same again. Faint line, and you could leave it faint because you can still see where the centre is. I was just emphasising the point with those. And then the fourth and final. Okay. And then we just faintly mark that. Now, what it's saying is mark the midpoints of the 4 sides you've found, which we've done. Connect the midpoints of the 4 sides to form a quadrilateral. Okay, So to form a quadrilateral, we would have to join them in this way. Because if we join them in any other way, it won't form a quadrilateral. So we go from this one to this one to this one, that one to that one, and finally there. And it's formed a quadrilateral. What shape do the four resulting quadrilaterals have? Okay, if it's looking for four resulting quadrilaterals, connect the midpoints of the four sides to form a quadrilateral. Okay, what shape do the four resulting quadrilaterals have? To get four quadrilaterals from this, we would need to join straight across like this. So join there. And then join there. Which means we would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I think that the shape of these quadrilaterals is, on the face of it, similar to the shape of the overall. Okay, we'll try that on a different shape now, just so that we can, just so that we will see exactly how that pans out when we do the same with this. Because it's not fully clear to me what we're expecting there. Okay, so let's try the same exercise with this shape here. With this, it's a V shape sort of. Okay. Okay, so if we find our centers and our bisectors, okay. No, I think that was the size we were looking for, that shape there, the outer one. And the reason I believe that now is because it's asked us to draw four quadrilaterals, and now it's saying what shape do the four resulting quadrilaterals have. So so we're only looking for one quadrilateral from each shape. Okay. Okay, so there's two. There is three. Oh, I've got a bit heavy with that one, but never mind. A little bit heavy there. never mind. And then if we just there. Okay, so if we go from this center here to this one here, and then this one to this one here, and then this one to this one here, and then this one to this one here. Again, we've ended up with another rhombus again, another, or a quadrilateral, just a four-sided shape. So no matter where our points are, we end up with this four-sided shape with a normal quadrilateral. Okay. So that same exercise would produce us, if we had a spot in the centre there, there, and there. When we join those, we're going to end up again with a quadrilateral. So, so the resulting shape of the resulting shape would be 4 quadrilaterals, and this one here ends up as a normal quadrilateral rather than the with the V in it. Okay, so that seems quite straightforward. Okay, so this next bit here, what we're going to do is we're going to just construct triangles using compass and a set square. Very, very straightforward. So all we're going to do is we're going to have A to B is going to be our baseline all the time. Now, the way this is being shown is we're drawing the line first and then we're marking off our base, the length from A to B. So that's fine. So section A, first one, A to B is 4 centimetres. So if we just go a little over that, so say 1, 2, 3, 4.5, and then what we'll do, using our compass, we can mark out 4 centimetres exactly, just like that. Okay, so we set our compass to exactly 4 centimetres, the point of the compass and the point of the pencil, and then we'll just put a little tag there, which is going to be our start, and that's where our compass goes in. Okay, so that's our A and B. Now these have used capitals, so that's what we're going to use. So A to B, and C will be up here somewhere. So B to C is 5 centimetres. So we set our compass at exactly 5 centimetres, like that. And B, going up to C, is exactly 5 centimetres. There we go. So wherever C is up there, if it's on that line, it will be 5 centimetres. And then A to C is 3 centimetres. So what that's sort of warning me is that we need to just make sure that that's low enough that a 3 centimetre measure will reach. So then we go from, we're going to do A to C, which is our 3 centimetres. So that's exactly on line there, or exactly on the mark. And we just put our cross in there. Oh, and you can see we've only just reached it there. So all we do is we put our pencil on that spot and connect it to B, and then put our pencil on that spot and connect it to A. Now there's a little thing here. This is an aside, this is an extra teaching point. If you get a triangle, which has sides equals 3, 4 and 5, triangle 3, 4, 5 always equals a right angled triangle. So it might be 6, 8, 10, but if the combination is the ratio of 3 to 4 to 5, you'll always find that this is a right angle. Just mark C up there while we're at it. Okay, I'll do one more of these and then we'll move on because this is very, very straightforward as well. So our next one, B, is, this is going to be an equilateral triangle. So it's AB equals BC, which equals AC, which all equals 7 centimetres. So we'll do our base first at 7 centimetres. And we'll do it just a little over like we did a minute ago. So 7 and a bit, and then we'll put our little start mark there, and then we'll get our compass. We'll set this at exactly 7 centimetres. Okay, so that you can see that's right in the centre there. So 7 centimetres. There we go. So that's A to B. Now we don't need to set anything else because we know that B to C is 7 centimetres. And then A to C is 7 centimetres. I should have moved this a little bit lower down because we're going to crash with our B up there, but never mind. We'll ignore that for now. Just make sure you leave enough space when you come to do it. And that goes perfectly to there, and again perfectly to there. Okay, so that is an equilateral triangle. As an additional learning point, the symbol for equilateral triangle is that little equals signs on each side, but that's an additional pointer. Because that one was a peculiar triangle, because it was equilateral, what I'll do is I'll do the next one as well. Okay, so this one is AB is 6 centimetres, but BC equals AC, which equals 10. So BC and AC are both 10 centimetres. Okay, so we'll give ourselves a little more space this time. So we want 6 centimetre base. So we'll just bring that to about 7, and then we'll set our compass to exactly 6, which we've got there. We'll put our little start point, our little tag there, and we'll make our mark. Okay, so that's our base AB. Okay, so now BC equals AC equals 10 centimetres, so both of these are 10 centimetres. So we'll set our marker, or our compass, get it exactly right there, get it exactly on, and then we can make our mark up here, and then again make it there. Crikey, I should have left even more space. And that comes down to there, and that comes down to there. So these two sides are 10 centimetres, and this one's 6. We could put our C there. Okay, so I'm going to move on from this one now because that's very straightforward, I think.